Every country in the world has strange places, haunting incidents, and shocking stories. Among these many strange and haunting tales, certain places are selected and designated as the world's most haunted locations based on their notoriety and fear factor. For example, there's the world's most haunted hotel, the world's most haunted house, the world's most haunted place, and so on. Among the many true horror stories and locations, there is one place that everyone agrees deserves the title of the scariest of them all. This place is unique. There can't be another like it on Earth. It's a location filled with astonishing and mysterious incidents. This most haunted place in the world is an old hospital. What makes it even more terrifying is that it's not just any hospital, it's an abandoned mental asylum. The world's most terrifying hospital, or Beechworth Asylum. Beechworth Asylum is an abandoned mental hospital located on the outskirts of Beechworth, Victoria. It opened in 1867 and was one of the major psychiatric hospitals serving the state. During its peak, the hospital housed over 1,200 patients and employed approximately 500 medical staff, including doctors and nurses. One can imagine how grand and extensive this hospital must have been to operate with over 500 staff members during that era. After 128 years of operation, the hospital was closed in 1995 following an investigation by the Royal Commission on Mental Health Care. Why was this successful hospital, which treated numerous mental health patients and employed hundreds of staff, suddenly shut down? What led to the investigation and eventual permanent closure? It's truly intriguing.
Haunting whispers that'll give you fright. Cold breath on the back of your neck. Minds unravel in this old cruel.
To explain this history, while Beechworth Mental Hospital was a grand and successful institution with many patients, it's important to understand the nature of mental illness patients. As we know, their conditions and behaviors varied greatly depending on their illness severity. Although some patients had only mild depression, the majority of those admitted to the mental hospital were people who couldn't be controlled at home. Some were individuals who had set fire to their homes due to mental breakdowns, murderers, psychotic killers, and many other difficult-to-treat patients who required intense supervision and control. That's why there is a unique architectural structure called the Ha-Ha wall within the hospital grounds. This area was used to confine patients with severe mental illnesses who were difficult to control. While these walls were built within a trench, making them appear low from the outside, from the inside they appeared as high as prison walls. However, they were specially designed to prevent patients from escaping without appearing as imposing as prison walls. Although Beechworth Mental Hospital was a grand and magnificent institution, because the patients were mentally ill, their ability to understand and comply was limited, and their responses to doctors and staff were often aggressive. The doctors and staff also had limited understanding of mental health issues at the time, combined with the lack of advanced medical development until the 1950s and the large number of severely mentally ill patients. Patients were controlled not only through force restraint and physical abuse, but also through electric shocks. The horrifying fact is that during the years since Beechworth Mental Hospital opened, of the many patients who came for treatment, over 9,000 patients died, some due to illness, but others due to improper treatment and excessive control measures used on the patients. Even more surprising was the mysterious disappearance of many patients. The dates, reasons, and circumstances behind these disappearances remained unknown, as well as where these patients ended up. Some speculated and criticized that it might have been due to medical experiments. In this grand hospital, hundreds of unusual disappearances and deaths occurred due to reckless actions. In 1951, there was a fire at Beechworth Hospital that caused some buildings to collapse. During this incident, about 400 unclothed male patients had to be quickly evacuated from the collapsing upper floor of the hospital ward. 11 patients fled into the densely forested area. During the search for these escaped patients, only 7 were recaptured, while 4 managed to escape. The hospital issued a statement claiming that all 4 unaccounted patients were non-dangerous individuals. After 128 years of secrets, mistreatment, disappearances, and deaths, this mental hospital was finally closed in 1995 following an investigation by the Royal Commission on Mental Health Care. According to reports, most patients who came for treatment at this hospital never left the grounds alive. And it's said that about 9,000 mental health patients died in this hospital. After operating for 128 years and witnessing the deaths of over 9,000 mental health patients, it's no wonder this hospital is considered a gathering place for restless spirits and is ranked as the world's one most haunted, terrifying mental hospital. Inside the buildings and rooms of this old hospital, there are still lingering spirits of mentally disturbed ghosts. Sometimes people claim to see the spirits of doctors and staff, and often the spirit of a little girl is also seen. Additionally, there are countless other terrifying and frightening stories associated with this old hospital. What's even more peculiar is that despite so many people having died here, and it being considered one of the most haunted places in the world, today, the old hospital is privately owned, and some of the buildings have been renovated. It has been turned into a historical site for tours, and at night, ghost hunting tours and escape room games are organized. Moreover, some of the buildings inside the hospital have been renovated into private accommodations for researchers and explorers. During the day, historical tours are available, and at night, adventurous individuals can participate in ghost hunting and haunted tours. However, to participate in these activities, advance booking is required. Due to the possibility of encountering supernatural phenomena, participants are also required to bring professional equipment as a precaution. As a restriction, those who are not in good health and those under the age of 16 are not allowed to explore at night. explore yourself, you need to book in advance online. You should also say goodbye to your family in advance. This is because what you are considering exploring is the world's #1 most haunted old mental hospital. If you are interested in such fascinating and mysterious real-life events and ghost stories, we invite you to like, follow, and subscribe to our Nightmare channel. See you again in the next new video.